one of the first things maybe you think of, or one of the things that I think is the grossest, is poop. Like, there is poop particles on the bottom of your shoes, especially if you have walked into a public restroom. There's poop particles on the floor. There's, people don't always pee in the toilet. And when you flush it, that stuff splashes everywhere anyways. And you're walking on that. And then you're going in and walking in your house. You got somebody else's poop that you're tracking onto your carpet. I can't wrap my head around wearing shoes in the house, but I have never worn shoes in the house. My mom always made me take shoes off at the door. I never wore them. I don't wear them in my house. I always make people take their shoes off. Some people don't like that, but hey man, I'm sorry. I don't want shit all over my carpet. Hey there, and welcome back to Becoming Natural with me, your host, Victoria Ray. I am a certified transformational nutrition coach and expert in the areas of mental wellness and nutrition. And this podcast is to provide you with the tools and knowledge that you need so that you can live a healthy and natural life in today's world where everything is, contaminated with chemicals, and there's so much misinformation about so many different things out there. So one of the things, actually, what I want to talk to you about today is something that there is a ton of misinformation surrounding. And I know most of you guys have probably heard of a cleanse before, or a detox, or even tried one yourself. Maybe you only drank lemon juice or maple syrup, or you only drank fruit juice for weeks or for a few days, or some crazy variation of this. And if you did so, you probably didn't feel very good, right? You probably didn't have a whole lot of energy, especially if you were doing a workout program and you were actually lifting heavy weights. Maybe you did see some weight loss, which definitely makes sense, especially if you weren't eating anything physically and you were just drinking juice. But the thing is here, once you stop doing your cleanse and you start putting actual food back into your diet, back into your body, you're going to start to gain that weight right back. And sometimes you'll even gain more weight. So if you've ever done this, if you've ever experienced this, we're going to kind of touch on why that happens. Now, the reason being that when we undernourish our bodies like this, they think that we're starving, and our body tries to go into survival mode, and it's going to start storing fat. So when we reintroduce food and our body doesn't, it doesn't want you to starve, it doesn't want you to die, it's going to hold on to that and keep that and store it as fat for the future. Your body is honestly really just trying to look out for you here. It wants you to live, and it doesn't want you to starve to death. And so that's why it's doing this. It's like, oh, dude, this guy's going days without eating anything. Oh, look, now we're getting some food. Dude, we better freaking hold on to this because this keeps happening and we need some fat so that we don't just kill over. And a lot of people do this every year. Millions of people go on cleanses like this, juice cleanses, pill cleanses, just detox cleanses that you can buy at the store, you name it. And a lot of these pill cleanses or powder cleanses or whatever you're getting, they're full of toxic chemicals that were never third-party tested. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that's in there should not be allowed for human consumption in the first place. What the FDA does is it literally will allow toxic chemicals that it knows is toxic, but in small amounts, safe for human consumption in these amounts. And these companies who are making these pill cleanses or powder cleanses or drink detoxes or whatever, they're getting on their labels, There is a huge difference between a nutrition label and a supplement label. Supplement labels, if they put that on there, they are not tested. They're not third-party tested. And they do a lot of these, what are they called? They're like blends. They'll say on there like, ooh, weight loss blend or proprietary. There we go. Proprietary blend. That is something that they freaking love to put on their label. Proprietary blend. Like what the fuck is that? What is your proprietary blend? Well, they're not going to tell you because legally they do not have to. There is nothing requiring them to disclose what their secret proprietary blend is. And this stuff can be causing damage to your liver. It can cause damage to your kidneys. Like it's really, really dangerous to consume things that we don't know what they are, especially if they have never been tested. One of the first things that we want to address if you do decide that you want to do a cleanse is the toxins, because that's the point of the cleanse, right? Or the detox is to detoxify the body. Now, we definitely want to rid our body of toxins, but there is really a wrong way to do it. We are exposed to so many toxins every day. And a lot of the time, it's completely unintentional. Like we're not going out and drinking the herbicide that we're putting on our lawn. Like, at least I'm not like going out and drinking Roundup and just, let me expose myself. No, it's completely unintentional. Most of the time when we're exposing ourselves to these toxins. So for example, if you wear shoes in your house, you're bringing in toxins from outside and you're spreading them all around your house. You're bringing in pesticides. You're bringing in herbicides. You're bringing in oil from the parking lot because people's cars do leak. Also, the exhaust fumes, those do settle down on the ground from cars. So when we're walking around, we're actually getting that stuff on our shoes. We're also getting mold from outside, bacteria, viruses, and maybe you think of, or one of the things that I think is the grossest is poop. Like there's poop particles on the bottom of your shoes, especially if you have walked into a public restroom. There's poop particles on the floor. There's, people don't always pee in the toilet. And when you flush it, that stuff splashes everywhere anyways. And you're walking on that. And then you're going in and walking in your house. You got somebody else's poop that you're tracking onto your car. I can't wrap my head around wearing shoes in the house, but I have never worn shoes in the house. My mom always made me take shoes off at the door. I never wore them. I don't wear them in my house. I always make people take their shoes off. Some people don't like that, but hey man, I'm sorry. I don't want shit all over my carpet. You see toxins in your house. It's just taking your shoes off. But we're also exposed to chemicals in our food too, not just from the shoes. And organic produce, that's sprayed with pesticides, herbicides. We're ingesting those, and when we do ingest those things, they don't just like run through our body, they actually sit there. So they're gonna like store into our fat because fat is a safe place for our body to put toxic chemicals. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But yeah, that stuff, it stays in our body. It doesn't just leave. So choosing organic produce if you have the option. And that would be things that you're going to eat the skin of. So I don't personally buy organic produce that has a shell on it or a peel that I'm going to peel off, like oranges, unless I'm using the oranges to zest or I'm using the peel in the food itself. I don't buy organic oranges. I don't buy organic bananas because I'm going to peel those. I'm going to peel that shell off. So I'm not going to waste that extra money on things like that that don't need to be organic. However, tomatoes, those definitely do need to be organic. Those are one of the highest treated crops with pesticides. Tomatoes, strawberries, blueberries. There's a whole list. It's called the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen if you want to look at it. It comes out every year, and it just shows you the foods that are the Clean 15, which you don't need to buy those organic, and then the Dirty Dozen are the ones that come back with the highest amount of pesticides when they run them through these tests. Another way that we're exposed to toxins every day is personal care products. So like deodorant, especially if it's got antiperspirant in it with aluminum, those are going to clog up your pores, and it's got other chemicals in it. And again, these do accumulate in our body. They're not just like going onto our body and then leaving. Our skin actually absorbs everything that we put on it, like perfume. If you're spraying perfume on yourself and it's not like from essential oils or something like that, like it's made with chemicals, your body's actually like basically eating that. Like your skin eats all the stuff you put on it. And there's also the factor of the things that we use to clean our homes, like these toxic chemicals, toxic air fresheners, sprays that we're spraying. There's warning labels on these bottles actually for like what to do if you accidentally ingest a little bit of it, or even if it comes into contact with your skin. Personally, those aren't things that I use in my house because I don't want anything that I'm going to clean with that, God forbid, I get a little bit on me. I need to call a poison control center. Like that doesn't make me feel safe at all, because I know that they're full of toxic chemicals. And another huge source of toxins that sometimes we don't think about is makeup. Makeup is a huge source of actually heavy metals, especially like lipsticks, lip balms. I know, guys, you probably don't use lipstick, but I mean, if you do, yeah, that's perfectly fine. But like lip balms, I know that most of us do use lip balms, and those can also be made with like artificial flavorings. Polysorbate 80 is something that I see a lot on like lip balms, which I think is super weird. But yeah, like I don't know how many of us actually look at the ingredient label of our makeup when we go to buy it. Sometimes we just see the brand and we're like, oh yeah, this is a designer brand, I'm gonna buy it, it must be good makeup. Yeah, maybe it like stays on your face for a long time, but maybe it stays on your face for a long time because there's a lot of freaking chemicals in it. And there are some good brands out there that make nice, good quality makeup that's made with organic ingredients, or it's just not made with the crazy chemicals like that. So what is all of this doing for our health? Is it really affecting us if we're only like coming into contact with it? And like, I'm going to do some air quotes here, like in trace amounts or safe levels of these chemicals, like the FDA says, oh, it's just trace amounts. It's just small amounts, it's okay because you're not ingesting a lot of it. But the answer is like, absolutely. It is absolutely affecting our health. According to a 2002 EPA study, at least 2/3 of Americans live in areas where toxic chemicals in the air raise the risk of cancer. And something else that's pretty interesting is in 1901, cancer was super rare. Like 1 out of 8,000 people got cancer. And since the Industrial Revolution, the cancer rate today has risen to, I shit you not, 1 in every 2 people. 1 in 2. It went from 1 out of 8,000 to 1 in 2. The Consumer Product Safety Commission connects 150 chemicals commonly found in homes to allergies, birth defects, cancers, and psychological disorders. The Environmental Working Group, a nonprofit organization, analyzed the toxic body burden of Americans. The researchers tested for 525 different toxins and found 455 different toxins in their research subjects. On average, participants' bodies contained 60 toxins that could be detrimental to the stomach or their intestines, and 57 of those that could affect the health of their reproductive system, and 52 that could affect the brain and nervous system. Now, I'm not trying to freak you guys out or anything, but I really, really do want to make you aware of this situation and why, cleansing your body and detoxifying your body in the right way is so very important. We're having basically an epidemic of infertility as well. Like, people are having children later and later and later. And yeah, a lot of it's a choice, but a lot of people are just not able to conceive. And one of the big problems here that sometimes is overlooked is these toxic chemicals. They do affect our fertility. Like I said, 57 of those toxins that were found in these test subjects, 57 of them can affect your reproductive system. So now that we know what these chemicals are doing to our body, my first suggestion to you is to remove them. We can treat a symptom all day long, but unless we are addressing the root cause of this issue, we will never get better. You can follow all my detox tips, you can follow all these tricks and do everything exactly right. But if you're still ingesting toxic crap every day, it's not going to do you any good. You can easily trade out your antiperspirant for a non-toxic deodorant. And yes, there are good ones out there that aren't sticky and that actually work. So when I first changed over from like regular deodorant, because I always used Old Spice deodorant, just like men's deodorant. I always felt like it worked better, or maybe I was told that it worked better, so that's what I always used. And then I started using natural deodorant, and I could not find one that was not sticky. Like, my armpits were constantly sticky, and I freaking hated it. So then I went back to the regular deodorant. I was like, I just can't do this. Like, I'll do everything else, but not the deodorant because it's too sticky and I hate it. But then I found some deodorant that I really like. The one that I personally use is native deodorant. It's not sticky and it smells really good. They have so many good scents for deodorants. That's the one I actually use. But yeah, there are deodorants out there that actually work, that are natural. You can opt in for non-toxic household cleaners and fluoride-free toothpastes, natural toothpastes, natural makeups, and also we can take our shoes off before we walk in our house, or take your shoes off at your door or something. Just like super, super simple changes that are going to make a huge difference in the toxic load in our bodies. Okay, so now that we've talked about removing the source of these chemicals, what I want to talk about is the 3 biggest mistakes I see people do when they try to do a detox or whenever they try to do a cleanse. And the first mistake that we touched on a little bit earlier is depriving your body of nutrition. So should anyone go on a cleanse of only lemon juice and water? Personally, I'm going to say no. I really don't think you should do that. That is going to damage your health unless you are doing some type of fast and you've been doing this before, or you're under the care of a health professional. I don't suggest that you just drink lemon juice and water for days on end. It's just not healthy. When you go to extremes like this of restricting your caloric intake and depriving your body of essential nutrients, your body and your health is going to suffer from that. And unfortunately, many of the side effects that people think of when they hear the word detox come from this type of deprivation. Lots of people will get headaches, irritability, nausea. They're going to have low energy. muscle aches, joint aches, acute emotional distress. All of this is side effects of depriving our body of nutrition. We're also putting our immune system at risk when we do this, because without it receiving the proper vitamins and minerals, it can't function properly. Not to mention, if you are diabetic, you are really putting yourself at risk of a stroke and also heart failure by, messing with your blood sugar levels so drastically. There are parts of our body that run only on glucose, which needs to be replenished through healthy eating. Your brain, your nervous system, your eyes, all of these are fed by blood glucose. And if we restrict or cut out carbohydrates completely, then our brain can get foggy and our vision can actually get blurry. And without other elements of proper nutrition like fiber and other vitamins and nutrients, our digestive system is going to slow down and can actually become further clogged up, and it's going to trap in any toxins that might have otherwise been expelled. Because we do expel a lot of toxins through poop. And that's why it's important to poop every day. And if you're not pooping every day, there are some things you can do, like make sure that you're exercising regularly, make sure that you are hydrated. You should be drinking lots of water. And I don't mean like water in other things, like sodas or drinks like that. I mean like actual water. You should be drinking H2O every day and lots of it. So if we're trying to heal our body, we need to give it the ability to do so. This would be like asking someone to build a functioning plane. Be like, hey man, I need you to build me this plane, but all I'm going to give you is Jell-O. Like, here's some Jell-O packets. I'll come back in like 2 days. Like, but I need my plane. Like, what? Like, that's not going to work. So our organs are like that. They're literally made out of the food that we eat. So if we're not giving our body the building materials that it needs, we can go into muscular atrophy, and our muscle tissue is actually going to start to break down so that it can conserve energy, so we don't fucking die. Like, again, our body's really, really smart, and it's very resourceful. And you might be thinking that you're telling it to do something, but it knows better, and it's going to do what it knows is going to keep you from dying. So remember, nourish your body, not only when we want to detox, but all the time. It's so important to give our body the proper nutrition all the time. And this is probably the most important thing that you can do. If you want your body to function at its best, you have got to give it the ingredients so that way it can. The second mistake I see a lot of people make is detoxing too quickly. And I know you guys have all seen like the ads or the promos or whatever for like weekend detox, 7-day cleanse, or some other like super quick fix that's like really cheap, or like insanely fast. And honestly, at this point, you guys, you'd literally be better off burning your money than buying these products. So many of them are really, they're just trying to make money, and they're serving you some unapproved, untested, slodge of God knows what, and they can actually compromise your health. Like I said, this stuff is not tested, and it can damage your organs. So you've spent a lifetime, literally your entire lifetime, being exposed to toxic environments and toxic chemicals, and years of these toxins have been lodged into your body and built up. You literally can't get rid of them in a weekend. Like, that's just not how that works. A study by the Environmental Working Group looked at the umbilical cord blood of a group of newborn babies. They tested for 413 chemicals and toxins. The laboratory found 287 of these. Of these 287 chemicals, 180 of them can cause cancer in humans and animals. 217 are known to be dangerous to the nervous system and brain, and 208 can cause birth defects in animals. Babies are literally being born with toxins already in their systems. And, this is from exposure while they're in the womb. So these toxins have literally been building up in your body over your entire life, so that we can detox, that 7-day detox, that whoever is trying to sell you is a load of crap. Like, it just doesn't work like that. These detox and cleansing programs that are short-term can be super ineffective, and for multiple reasons. First of all, detoxing really just needs to be your lifestyle. Like, plain and simple, it's something that you need to do all the time. And second, it can release large numbers of toxins that flood into your bloodstream, which can cause added stress on your body. Skin problems like acne, and worst of all, you could experience negative side effects just to have those toxins restored right back where they came from, because your body can't release them and then eliminate them fast enough. So it's just going to put them back. And these quick detox programs can actually make you fat. Your body stores toxic chemicals in your body fat, because your body really, really, really likes to make fat out of things that it doesn't know what to do with. It sees something, it's like, oh my God, I don't know what this is, and it's potentially dangerous. Boom, we're going to put it in the fat. So it knows that body fat is a pretty safe place to keep these toxins. So if you're doing a quick detox, you're not actually getting rid of the toxins in your fat. And it can be pretty challenging to convince your body to let go of the fat that it's using as basically a prison cell for these toxic chemicals. So what we really want to do here is target the actual body fat. And we can do this first by eliminating or seriously cutting back on the amount of refined sugar and refined carbohydrates that we are eating. So we can start our day off with eggs and steak and maybe some full-fat yogurt instead of a bagel and a muffin, or a croissant, or something high in sugar and refined carbohydrates. We really want to opt in for a high protein option. And second, we want to avoid all those nasty polyunsaturated fatty acids and refined oils in our food, since this is just going to make our fat harder to burn, and it's going to contribute to the toxins that are already in our fat. Thirdly, is that a word? Well, if it's not, it is now. So thirdly, we want to exercise. Now, I'm not telling you to go and spend 2-3 hours in the gym every day, but biologically, we are designed to move and walk and run and jump and do all the movementy things that, we did when we were kids. So 20 to 30 minutes of exercise daily can increase your metabolic health drastically. Even walking. Walking is so good for us, and it's so extremely underrated. Walking is very, 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 very good for you, and it's one of the best ways to burn fat, to be honest. And I don't mean just moseying around, but walking at a decent speed, very good for burning fat. Also, if you do take a walk outside, that's a really good way to get your vitamin D in for the day. Now on to the third mistake that I see, and it's probably the biggest one. And that's not taking a holistic approach to detoxing. And no, I don't mean drinking patchouli and wearing the big flowy pants or anything like that. It's important to address our body, but also our mind and our spirit. Our being, your being, you are like a tripod of the mental and spiritual and physical realm. If one of these elements is off, the whole thing's just going to tip over. So do you know anybody who can't lose weight even though maybe they've done all the things right physically? They're eating right and they're exercising, but they're super, super stressed out? That's because All three of these things have got to be in balance. They've got to be in sync for us to function at our best. And this is what I mean by holistic, like whole, the whole person, the whole essence of you, not just your physical body, because you are so much more than that. You are so much more than your physical body. You have a mind, you have a spirit, and all of those things need to be nourished. And it's really important that when we're putting our physical body through a detox, that we are mentally and spiritually detoxing as well, because again, we want to be in balance. Stress can actually release toxic hormones and chemicals that can be, just as toxic to our body. It can have many causes, but it's important to set aside some time to really analyze our life and examine where that stress comes from and when. It can be work-related, it can be coming from toxic relationships, toxic friendships. Stress can come from just about anything in life, but it's how you deal with the stress that counts, because the stress is going to happen, the stress is going to come. Nobody is going to live a stress-free life. It is how you deal with that stress that's going to really, really matter. Transforming your mind is key to your overall health. Changing the way that we think and feel about ourselves is a huge step to getting on the right track. We have got to make a conscious decision. You have got to make a conscious decision to love yourself and to nourish yourself every day. And this is something that only you have control of, because this change happens within. This happens within you. And it will take some time, but when it happens, your life is absolutely going to change. Getting rid of toxic thoughts will transform your life. You're going to feel happier. You're going to be more upbeat, and things are just going to, seem to magically go your way. Plus, on those occasions when things go wrong, because like I said, they absolutely will. Things will always go wrong, but there's healthy ways of coping with them and coping with the stress. There's ways to look at things from a different perspective, because maybe this did go wrong. Maybe I didn't get the job that I wanted. Okay, that's fine. There's something else out there for me. There's something else out there for you that's going to be better. Maybe that wasn't right for you. There's just we just have to come at it from a different way. So some things I like to do for my well-being are gratitude journaling, meditation. I like to do yoga, and also going to the gym. Going to the gym is a huge one for me. I love working out, and it really helps me kind of like clear my head. If I'm ever having a bad day and I haven't been to the gym yet, that always makes me feel so much better. So if you guys do decide to do a cleanse or a detox, just remember, it doesn't start with some gimmicky product from, dare I say it, GNC. It starts with removing the toxic chemicals, just taking those out of your life, removing the toxic relationships, removing all of the things from your life that are toxic mentally, physically, spiritually, and then nourishing your body with good, wholesome foods. Adding in exercise and nourishing your mind, nourishing your spirit. The rest is honestly just going to take care of itself. Our bodies are super intelligent, and sometimes we just have to give them what they need and trust that they're going to take care of us in turn. Now, as always, I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that you have really learned something today that's going to help you live your life a little bit more toxin-free. And I've got some super exciting news. My handmade all-natural personal care products are now available on my website. And since you guys keep coming back for some reason, I want to give you 10% off of your entire order. So just go to victoriaraycoaching.com/shop and enter the discount code Becoming Natural, and that's going to be one word, at checkout. Again, that's going to be at victoriaraycoaching.com/shop and the discount code Becoming Natural. I am so excited to get these things out to you, especially, on this podcast, since that's one way that you can start to eliminate toxins in your personal care products. Everything on there is made using only the highest quality natural ingredients. No toxic shit whatsoever. We are done with that, and we are moving on to better things. So until next time, you guys, go out there and have yourself a freaking great rest of your day.